Dear colleagues, the United Nations has declared years between 2021 and 2030 as the International Decade on Ecosystem Restoration. The goal of this decade is to bring together all interested parties to prevent, halt, and reverse the degradation of ecosystem on every continent in every ocean. This initiative provides many areas of work that will draw attention to the problem of restoration ecosystem and ensure their sustainable use in the future. The length of Azov-Black Sea coastline in Ukraine is about 1,500 kilometers, which is just about 25 large limans of the northwestern Black Sea and Azov region. A huge part of coastal marine ecosystem and limos falls under the natural protection territories of the Azov Black Sea region. Is given the status of wetlands of international importance, and it's considered an element of the Emerald network, although they are important from the social and economic sides as well. Besides, these waters was recreational value. More than 15 million people came to the coast for vacation each year. As a result of water and marine framework standards implementation in Ukraine, it became possible to assess the current ecological state of coastal water bodies and largest limans in the ESC categories based on morphological and functional indicators of benthic vegetation. Due to the analysis of ESC, was obtained for most of the region's water areas, which makes it possible to identify the most problematic water bodies that primarily require complex management to achieve GAS. For a long time, the management of these water bodies took place spontaneously and was aimed at the transformation of various ecological states. Most of the feasible anthropogenic transformation have changed the course of natural process in these ecosystems. Some ecosystems were radically transformed, isolated from the sea waters, changed both at the level of abiotic characteristics and at the biocenosis level. This is why the purpose of a systematic approach to the environmental management process, the main element of which should be a multi-component decision support system. This scheme will enable to develop clear plans for the restoration and sustainable use of marine ecosystem, as well as to prevent negative changes and degradation of marine water areas. Despite the obvious need to develop a systematic approach to design support in estuary management, there are currently no complete step-by-step schemes that allow for a comprehensive solution to the task of ecological management. The main defects and problem of modern ecological solution implemented in Ukraine are: first, lack of systematic scientific studies on the state of water bodies, which should be implemented on the basis of the basin approach and the requirements of the Water Framework Directive. Second, lack of works on the assessment of ecosystem services as a tool for understanding the ecological, social, and resource value of water areas. Third, insufficient use of elements of the mathematical modeling of hydroecological and socio-economical processes. And fourth, lack of understanding of the need to involve experts of appropriate qualification by the customers and their unwillingness to finance the full scope of the development and the design stage. Given the lack of systemic solution in the management of liman and coastal marine waters, there is a need to develop a holistic step-by-step scheme that will comprehensively address ecological management using a basin approach, ecosystem approach, and ecosystem services. The basing approach assumes that the catchment area, together with the reservoir, forms a holistic geo-ecosystem with transit accumulative functions and directly affects the formation of ESC hydroecosystem. According to the World Water Framework Directive, the river basin is the main territorial unit when it comes to protection of the aquatic environment. Planning and sustainable landscape management structure includes spatial zoning taking into account the morphology of the terrain and the spatial location of lands among themselves. Formation of a sustainable ecological frameworks along with an ecological network consisting an environment stabilizing and refuging lands. Creation and an environment protected regime. Ecosystem approach. The main idea of the ecosystem approach lies in the fact that the natural anthropogenic components are considered to be interrelated elements in the holistic system. At the same time, the main goal of ecological management is to maintain the structure of functioning of the natural system, while the ecosystem itself together provides its services as a social benefits that are essential to society. In fact, successful ecosystem approach amplification is centered around the concept of health by achieving both the health of nature system and the health of human system. Ecosystem services as a tool for the basic diagnosis stage of coastal marine waters and limads aims to assess the value of aquatic waters and to provide their ecological, social, and economical features. Among many ecosystem services are those that provide resources, food, water, timber, raw material, regulate processes in ecosystem, climate impact, flood and natural disaster control, water quality, and so on. Provide cultural and social services, for example, aesthetic and spiritual value of nature, and supports ecosystem functioning, soil formation, photosynthesis, nitrogen cycle, and so on. At present, there are different methodological approaches for assessing ecosystem services. The Ramsar Committee, as part of wetland management, proposed a rapid assessment of ecosystem services. The proposed scheme has three blocks: a data collection block, solution research block, and the measure implementation block. Those blocks are sequential and must be implemented in stages. Data collection blocks involves an implementation of several stages. First, assessment of the current stage of the water body. Second, definition of the problem and their ranking. Third, evaluation of the ecosystem services. The second block of the systemic decision-making scheme for estuary management is based on the implementation of the decision support system. The essence of the management process is to make a decision. Is it the choice of a course of action from a set of existing alternative options? In such conditions, the problem of choosing the most rational and effective solution, is it the best solution, became one of the most important tasks of production management. The third block is a systemic decision-making scheme for estuary management is dedicated to implementation of four stages. The first, environmental assessment of decision and projects. Second, implementation of environmental measures. Third, efficiently evaluation. And the fourth, research for new solutions and their improvement. As a conclusion, the Azov Black Sea coast is presented by the significant number of estuaries and bays, which function for a long time thanks to artificial connection with the sea. Most of them are included in the nature protection territories of Ukraine. On the other hand, they are they are important from the social economic point of view. For a long time, the management of these water bodies took place spontaneously and was aimed at the formation of various ecological stages. The lack of the systemic concept of the development of estuary management plans does not make it possible to make the necessary management decision. Developed decision-making scheme for estuary management is based on the implementation of successive stages, which is a multi-component decision support system functioning in its center. This scheme is cyclical and requires contained improvement of the decision made and evaluation of the effectiveness of measures. Thank you for your attention.